The autumn wind carried the scent of rain across the parking lot of Miller's gas station on the outskirts of Portland, Oregon. 7-year-old Marcus Webb pressed his nose against the window of his mother's aging Subaru, watching the world with the intense curiosity that drove his kindergarten teacher to describe him as exceptionally observant. "Mom, can I get a snack?" Marcus asked, his voice small but persistent. Jennifer Webb glanced at her son through the rearview mirror, her tired eyes softening. At 32, she looked older. The kind of exhaustion that came from working double shifts at Providence Hospital as a nurse's aide while raising a son alone after her husband's death in a construction accident 3 years prior. "We need to save money, sweetie," Jennifer said gently, though the words tasted like failure in her mouth. "We've got crackers at home." Marcus nodded without complaint. He was used to hearing no when it came to extras. Used to wearing shoes until they pinched his toes. Used to the constant tension in his mother's shoulders that never quite went away. Jennifer pulled into the gas station, her fuel light glowing accusingly. She had exactly $23 in her checking account and another $40 in her wallet, funds that needed to stretch until Friday's paycheck. The medical bill collector's letter in her purse felt like it weighed 10 pounds. As Jennifer began pumping gas, Marcus watched a group of motorcycles pull into the far end of the parking lot. 5 bikes, their chrome gleaming even under the overcast sky. The riders wore leather vests. Cuts, Marcus had learned they were called. Hell's Angels patches were clearly visible. "Stay in the car," Jennifer called through the window, noticing her son's interest. She knew the club's reputation. Everyone in Portland did. But Marcus wasn't looking at the bikers. His attention had fixed on something else. A man in a dark hoodie moving along the line of parked motorcycles. The man kept glancing around nervously, his movements quick and furtive. Marcus watched as the man crouched beside the first bike, pulling something from his pocket. The boy's forehead wrinkled. Something felt wrong. Very wrong. The man moved to the second bike, repeating the same movements. Now Marcus could see a tool in his hand, something that caught the light. The man was doing something underneath the motorcycles, near the wheels. Marcus remembered a conversation from last month. His mom's friend Dave, a mechanic, had visited their apartment. Dave had talked about a customer whose brake line had been cut, how the car had crashed, how the driver had almost died. Brake lines. The man was cutting brake lines. Marcus's heart hammered. His mother always said to speak up when he saw something wrong. But these were Hell's Angels. Scary men with tattoos and leather, men people crossed the street to avoid. The man finished with the third bike and moved to the fourth. Marcus made a decision. He unbuckled his seat belt and pushed open the car door. "Marcus!" Jennifer's head snapped around. "I said stay in the..." But her son was already running across the parking lot, his small legs pumping, heading straight toward the group of bikers who had dismounted and were standing in a circle laughing about something. "Don't start your bikes!" Marcus' voice rang out, high and urgent. "Please don't start your bikes!" The laughter stopped. 5 pairs of eyes turned toward the small boy running at them, his second-hand jacket flapping open, his shoelaces untied. Jennifer dropped the gas pump, her heart seizing. She started running. "Marcus, get back here!" The nearest biker, a massive man with a gray beard braided into 2 thick ropes and arms covered in faded ink, took a step toward Marcus. His expression was stern, intimidating. "Kid, what are you?" "There's a bad man." Marcus pointed frantically towards the hoodie-wearing figure who had frozen at the commotion. "He's cutting something on your bikes. I saw him. He had a tool and he was under them. And my mom's friend said brake lines get cut and people crash and die." The words tumbled out in a rush, his 7-year-old vocabulary struggling to articulate the urgency he felt. The bearded biker's expression changed instantly. He turned, following Marcus' pointing finger. The man in the hoodie was now backing away, his face pale. "Jake, Chase, check the bikes," the bearded man commanded. "Tommy, get that guy." 2 bikers rushed toward the motorcycles while a third, lean and fast despite his age, sprinted after the hoodie-wearing man. The suspect didn't even try to fight. He just ran, disappearing around the corner of the gas station building toward a car idling in the back lot. Jennifer reached Marcus and grabbed him, pulling him against her legs. "I'm so sorry. I told him to stay in the car." "I don't know what, Mom, he was cutting their bikes," Marcus said, his voice shaking now that the adrenaline was fading. "I saw him." The biker named Jake straightened from examining the first motorcycle, his weathered face dark with fury. "Brake lines. Clean cuts on 3 of them." He moved to the second bike. "This one, too." "Jesus Christ." The bearded man's voice was low and dangerous. He looked down at Marcus, and Jennifer instinctively pulled her son closer, but the biker's expression gentled. He crouched down, making himself less imposing. "What's your name, son?" "Marcus," the boy whispered. "Marcus, I'm Bear." He extended a massive hand. "You just saved lives today. You understand that? If we'd started those bikes." He didn't finish the sentence, but Jennifer's imagination filled in the blanks. High-speed crashes, motorcycles flipping, bodies sliding across asphalt. "I just saw him doing bad stuff," Marcus said quietly. "Mom says to tell the truth about bad things." Now, have you ever been in a situation where a split-second decision changed everything? Where speaking up was the hardest, but most important, thing you could do? This is one of those stories. Bear's weathered face broke into a genuine smile. "Your mom's a smart woman." He stood, his attention shifting to Jennifer. "Ma'am, I'm Bear, Sergeant-at-Arms for the Portland chapter. Your son just prevented a tragedy. We owe you both." "You don't owe us anything," Jennifer said, her voice shaking. "Anyone would have, no." Another biker approached, younger than Bear, maybe late 30s, with intelligent eyes and a scar across his jaw. "Most people would have looked away. Didn't want to get involved. Your boy spoke up." "That's not nothing. I'm Cole, Vice President." The biker who'd chased the suspect returned, breathing hard. "Got his plates. Silver Honda Civic, Oregon plates, TRJ 847. He's gone, but I got a decent look at his face." Bear pulled out his phone, already dialing. Jennifer stood frozen. Marcus pressed against her side, watching these men transform from relaxed riders into something harder, more focused. A Portland police cruiser arrived within 10 minutes. The officer who emerged was middle-aged with tired eyes. "Bear," the officer said with a nod. "Got a call about vandalism." "Attempted murder, Officer Davidson," Bear corrected. "Someone cut brake lines on 4 of our bikes. This young man witnessed it." He gestured to Marcus. Davidson took Marcus' statement, his voice gaining confidence as he described the man's movements, the tool in his hand, how he'd worked on multiple bikes. "We should go," Jennifer said quickly after giving her own statement. "You have what you need, ma'am?" Bear's voice stopped her. "Your son's a witness to a serious crime. People who cut brake lines don't like witnesses. You understand what I'm saying?" Cold fear washed through Jennifer. "Are you saying we're in danger?" "I'm saying it's a possibility." Cole spoke up. "The guy who did this saw this area. He might not have registered you in the moment, but if he's thorough..." Jennifer felt her world tilting. She couldn't afford danger. Couldn't afford complications. She was barely affording life as it was. Bear's eyes, sharp despite his rough exterior, seemed to understand what she wasn't saying. "There's a diner 2 blocks over, Maggie's Place. Best burgers in Portland. Let us buy you and your boy lunch while we wait for the detectives. Least we can do." Marcus tugged at Jennifer's sleeve. "Can we, Mom, please?" Jennifer looked at these men, outlaws, people she'd been taught to fear. But Marcus had just saved their lives, and they were offering kindness in return. "Okay," she heard herself say. "Just while we wait." Maggie's Diner was a Portland institution, unchanged since the 1970s. The waitress, a woman in her 60s with kind eyes, didn't even blink when 5 Hells Angels walked in with a tired-looking nurse and a small boy. "The usual boys," she called out. And whatever the lady and her son want, Bear replied. On us. Jennifer ordered the cheapest items. Grilled cheese for Marcus, soup for herself. The waitress, whose name tag read Maggie, gave Jennifer a knowing look. 2 burgers, fries, milkshakes for both, Maggie announced. Growing boy needs food, and you look like you haven't eaten properly in a month. Jennifer wanted to protest, but the truth was she'd been skipping meals to make sure Marcus had enough. While they waited for food, Cole sat across from Jennifer and Marcus. I need to ask you something straight. Is there any reason someone would want to hurt you or Marcus? My husband died 3 years ago, Jennifer said quietly. Construction accident. There's no one. We're nobody. You witnessed a serious crime, Cole said gently. That makes you somebody. The guy who cut our lines, if he figures out there was a witness, you could become a target. Jennifer felt ice in her stomach. What am I supposed to do? I work at Providence Hospital. I can't just disappear. Marcus has school. Cole and Bear exchanged glances. Bear leaned forward. The club has resources. Safe houses, people who can keep watch. Until we figure out who's behind this, we can make sure you're protected. I can't accept that. Jennifer's voice cracked. I can barely afford our apartment. I'm 3 months behind on medical bills from my husband's death. I can't take charity. It's not charity, Bear interrupted firmly. You saved our lives. In our world, that creates a debt, a big one. We take care of our own. And right now you're our own. Jennifer wanted to argue, but exhaustion washed over her. She was so tired of fighting alone. Just for a few days, she whispered. Until you know it's safe. Cole slid a business card across the table. My number. Call anytime if anything feels wrong. The safe house was in Northeast Portland, a small 2-bedroom bungalow with a fenced yard. Inside, it was furnished simply but comfortably. Club owns it, Bear explained. Use it for members who need a place to lay low. It's yours as long as you need it. Marcus explored with enthusiasm, discovering the backyard with its overgrown grass and a rusty swing set. Can we stay here forever? He asked Jennifer. Just for a little while, baby, she replied, though part of her wanted to say yes. That night, a biker named Dutch took first watch. Jennifer lay in the unfamiliar bed, Marcus asleep beside her, trying to process the surreal turn her life had taken. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. We know who you are. Jennifer's blood turned to ice. With shaking hands, she screenshot the message and sent it to Cole. His response was immediate. Don't move. Lock the bedroom door. I'm on my way. Within minutes, she heard multiple motorcycles arrive. A soft knock came at the bedroom door. Jennifer, it's Cole. She unlocked the door. Cole entered, his expression grim. We're sweeping the area. Someone tried to approach the house. One of our guys intercepted him. Young kid, probably hired for surveillance. We convinced him to share who sent him. Who? Jennifer whispered. Tyler Vance. Enforcer for the West Side Crew, rival club. Turns out the guy who cut our lines was one of theirs trying to start a war. They know there was a witness. They want to eliminate that problem. Jennifer felt her world crumbling. What do I do? You let us handle it, Cole said firmly. But we need to go public, make you visible right now. You're a secret. Secrets are easy to disappear. Public witnesses are harder to touch. The interview with Portland's KQ News happened 2 days later. Jennifer sat with Marcus, facing reporter Rachel Kim, and told their story. Are you afraid? Rachel asked. Jennifer looked at Marcus, then directly into the camera. I'm terrified, but I taught my son to speak up when he sees something wrong. I can't teach him that and then hide when it's my turn to be brave. The segment aired that evening. Her phone buzzed immediately. Big mistake going public. You'll regret this. Cole documented the message. Keep them coming. Every threat is evidence. Tyler Vance was arrested 3 days later. The threatening messages combined with testimony from the surveillance kid were enough for charges. The brake line cutting had been a botched attempt to start a territorial war. "He's looking at serious time," Officer Davidson told Jennifer. "Your testimony sealed it. You did good." Jennifer should have felt relief. Instead, she felt lost. The threat was over, which meant leaving the safe house, returning to their barely affordable apartment. "What happens now?" she asked Bear one afternoon, watching Marcus play on the swing set that club members had repaired. "That's up to you," Bear said. "Threat's gone. You're free to go back." "I don't want to go back," Jennifer admitted. "That apartment, that life. I was drowning. And Marcus has been so happy here." Bear was quiet for a moment. "You could stay." "I can't afford, club already voted," Bear interrupted. "House is yours. No rent. You handle maintenance, coordinate some of our community events, toy drives, fundraisers. Make it official." Jennifer's eyes filled with tears. "Why would you do this?" "Because your son saved our lives," Bear said simply. "Because you're good people who got dealt a rough hand. Because we take care of our own. And you're our own." Now, if this story has touched your heart, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to Bike Diaries. We bring you stories that prove heroism comes in all forms, that courage isn't measured by size or age, and that sometimes the smallest voices carry the most important messages. Tell us in the comments, have you ever noticed something important that others missed? Your story might inspire someone else. 6 months later, Jennifer stood in the backyard of what she now thought of as home. The grass was green, properly maintained. The flower bed she'd planted bloomed with roses and daisies. Marcus' laughter rang out as Cole pushed him on the swing. The man had become a fixture in their lives, his courtship of Jennifer slow and respectful. The medical bills were manageable now. Bear had connected her with a lawyer who negotiated the debt down. She still worked at the hospital, but only one shift instead of 2 because the club paid her a modest salary for coordinating their outreach programs. The Portland chapter's reputation had shifted. Still respected, still feared when necessary, but also known as the bikers who protected a widow and her son, who organized the city's largest toy drive. "Mom!" Marcus called. "Watch this!" He pumped his legs on the swing, going higher. Jennifer watched her son, confident now, happy, no longer wearing shoes that pinched. "He's got good instincts," Cole said quietly, standing beside her. "Gets it from his mom." Jennifer leaned into him, feeling safe. "We got lucky." "Lucky nothing," Cole replied. "Marcus was brave. You were brave. And you found family in an unexpected place." Family? Yes, that's what this was. Bear showing up every Sunday with groceries, Maggie bringing meals, Dutch teaching Marcus chess, Cole becoming the father figure her son had lost. Tucking Marcus into bed, Jennifer asked, "Are you happy here, sweetheart?" "Super happy," Marcus said. "I have you and Cole and Bear and all my friends, and I saved people, Mom." "That's pretty cool." "That's very cool," Jennifer agreed, kissing his forehead. "Mom, are we going to stay here forever?" Jennifer thought about the question. Forever was a long time, full of uncertainties, but for now, they had a home. They had family. They had safety and stability, and something that looked remarkably like happiness. "Yeah, baby," she said softly. "I think we might." Outside, she could hear motorcycles in the distance. That sound that used to frighten her and now meant family, meant home. A year ago, Jennifer Webb had been drowning. Now she was whole. All because a 7-year-old boy had the courage to warn strangers about danger, and because strangers had the honor to protect him in return. Thank you for watching. If this story reminded you to trust your instincts, to speak up when something feels wrong, and to never underestimate the power of paying attention, please share it. Subscribe to Bike Diaries for more stories that prove heroes are everywhere, courage comes in all forms, and sometimes the smallest person in the room has the biggest impact. Tell us in the comments, what would you have done in Marcus's place? Sometimes, Jennifer reflected as she watched Cole and Marcus playing cards at the kitchen table, family finds you in the most unexpected ways.